Cool. All right. Welcome to Capital Tasteland. What to eat and see while in DC. I see that we have some people who are from the area, so who may know some of these things already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for coming out to MAGFest.
Yeah. Thank you
so
so
for being
much.
vaccinated and boosted. Thanks for coming out.
All right. My name's Emma Atlas. I've lived in the DC area for about 10 years now. How about you?
My name is Abby Clark, and I've been in DC for a little over a year now.
Yeah. So I think the contrast here will help you understand some things here. You know, what makes an immediate impact, you know, what's a lasting impact on someone who visits the area.
And what stands out to someone who's not been here very long, but was worth risking my life for during the pandemic.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to get started. And I think first it's important to sort of address the obvious, the elephant in the room. The reason why we're all wearing masks, we have to kind of get the unfun stuff out of the way. Right.
Yeah, sure. So, it's the new normal. That's a phrase I'm sure you're not very familiar with, but with the pandemic going on, we are practicing safety measures.
So DC's got I think it's been in the news a lot that DC, case rates have gone up quite a bit. On the same side, though, vaccinations are fairly high, so it'll be up to your own, personal taste whether you think that you would consider coming now or consider coming when things are a bit more calmed down. But at least with this, we're going to offer a few suggestions for, sorry, I'm moving away from the microphone. We're going to offer a few suggestions for, both during COVID and, maybe a little later in the year when things are a little bit more, mellowed out. So at least right now during COVID-19, this is data circa December 5th. So I think the vaccination rate's probably gone up since then, but it's right now at 63.5% vaccinated. At the same thing, it's there's a cultural shift, I think, ever since COVID started, where restaurants began to open these little streeteries like you can see here. This is Le Dip or Le Diplomat.
Yes.
Bill Murray eats here.
Lots of celebrities, lots of politicians too.
Yeah. There's a lot of outdoor seating type places. They've really taken over all the parking with it, which I love because I hate cars.
Says someone who doesn't drive. Okay.
Yeah. So this is the beginning of it. So
which hopefully you're not driving. So yeah, it'll be a good experience.
Yeah. Also DC at the moment, I think the Mayor Bowser has said it so that you'll need a vaccination card as you have to enter any restaurants. So it's, the standard across the board, just like MAGFest. So another thing, I think people find a bit of anxiety when they think about how they're going to get around a city, because they're like, oh, I don't want to learn a new metro system. I don't want to, get in a cab, and all these kinds of things are frightening. As you can see, this is a picture of Division 2 of someone looking frightened in a metro station, but it's a little bit dark, so you can't quite tell. So I think...
Yeah, so same with any city, Google Maps is your best friend. Mm-hmm. It's how you're going to get around. It's very accurate. And yeah, don't be afraid of the metro. And you can easily go in and get a card, follow prompts.
Yeah, they actually have a new Smart Trip app, so that saves you from even needing to go buy the card.
However, if you put money on your Smart Trip app, it takes 24 hours to kick in.
Really?
So if you add money on online, let's say you have your card, it does take a little while for it to kick in. But if you did it right now, you'll be fine for tomorrow.
Right. So at least I would say, though, metro is still the safest way of getting around. If you could ever think about I might, run into something on the street. It never would, but the metro, there's police all around, all through it, MPDs all over the place. Uber and Lyft are, fairly common in DC, but a little bit less so since the prices shot up. So traditional cab apps have kind of taken over, which is interesting. I kind of had something I meant to bring up at the start, which is I was going to go over who here's from Maryland, if you could raise your hand. Okay, boo.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Boo. Who here's from Virginia? A few less, yeah. Anyone here would say that they're furthest away? Would you say that you're from fairly far away?
Is anyone from out of the country?
Out of the country may be a stretch, but maybe out from either of those states. No contenders? LA?
That's pretty far. That's pretty far.
You may be the furthest.
Thank you.
What were you saying? Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, LA takes it. So we're going to move on.
So,
to that. Yeah.
Next.
So this is an important question I think a lot of people think about is how much is DC like it is in the video game that I played? And, you know, will I be able to navigate based on, you know, what I experienced in a video game? I'm going to say the answer, if you played Fallout 3, is like an abject no. Absolutely shaking your head. Absolutely right. You cannot. If you played Division 2, which came out a few years ago, the answer is probably, which I think may surprise people. I've played it a bit, and you really can. To demonstrate that point, I'm going to show a little video that I've put together. And there's an experiment inside that I'm sure you're really going to like, because Abby has not seen this video.
She made me not watch it.
Yeah, I saved it from you. And there's a cue partway through the video. And if you guess what it is, then the man from LA wins some endpoints. So we'll see how that works out. You'll have to watch it for sure. All right. If it loads. Oh my.
Yeah, the Washington Monument.
Yeah, no, it's just
somehow didn't make the slides, but we will be talking about it.
I don't know why it's just killing it's getting the internet off my phone because the thing wasn't working. So we're just gonna.
Technically supposed to be the Metro.
This is.
Oh, by the way, you do also get Wi-Fi in the Metro. Not always the case in New York.
They ran an antenna through it, and
yes.
crazy.
So I mean, because like DC's got the deepest metro system in. Is it in the world? It's in the what? In the Western Hemisphere. Thank you, Sebastian.
We think so. All right. No.
The roads are the dustiest, the winds are the gustiest, the gates are the rustiest, the pies are the crustiest, the songs the lustiest, the friends the trustiest, way back home.
It was
The trees are the sappiest, the days are the nappiest, the dogs are the yappiest, the kids are the scrappiest, the jokes the snappiest, the folks the happiest, way back home.
Looks exactly. Oh my God. Yeah, it looks exactly.
Don't know why
Thanks for bearing with us, guys.
Yeah, I'm so sorry about this.
I left the homestead.
Okay, we're just gonna curse you, internet.
You've seen movies, you know what DC looks like, but it's entirely different to experience it firsthand. Is it anyone's first time in DC?
Yeah. Anyone's first MAGFest.
Okay, we got one.
LA.
That's fine. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Nice.
True. Welcome in MAGFest.
Yes.
Oh God, I'm just gonna. Should I just bring it all the way down? This is not supposed to move so slowly.
Yeah, sure.
I really must confess, I'm a weary exile, singing my song of loneliness. The grass is the springiest, the bees are the stingiest, the birds are the wingiest, the bells are the ringiest, the heart's the singiest, the arms the clingiest, way back home. What about the sun? The sun's the blaziest, the fields the daisiest, and the cows the graziest, the help's the laziest, the boys are the wittiest, the girls are the prettiest, way back home. The pigs are the snootiest, the owls are the hootiest, the plants
What
the
a great time to buy. I know you're looking for a house.
stars the shootiest, the grin's the funniest, the smile's the sunniest, way back home.
This is a Black Lives Matter.
Don't know why I left the
museum
homestead.
closed.
Yeah, well,
I
It was
really
the
must
museum.
disrespectful.
confess,
I don't know why they did this.
I'm a weary exile.
All the statues you're going to find really hot Pokestops, by the way.
Here's Union Station. Immaculate, shocking.
The food is the spreadiest, the wine is the headiest, the pals are the readiest, the gals are the steadiest, the love the liveliest, the life the loveliest,
The one we know
way back, way back, way
The AMC NC-14 in Georgetown. Obviously, I know
You got
that. Because I know what a movie theater is.
You get endpoints. Endpoints.
He can get it after.
Yeah, if you want. Yeah.
If you want
him. Get it. It's okay for you. So as you can see, this thing is going on the wrong thing again.
Oh, that's right. I was like, we haven't been there together, but we went Scott Pilgrim.
We did, yeah.
Scott Pilgrim
I saw
night.
Scott Pilgrim there. God. Oh, you couldn't?
You won endpoints.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so she it was an AMC that she recognizes.
Any AMC Stubbs members in the house? Nice. Thank you.
I did spoil it, but we'll just try and pretend like I didn't
Me
spoil
too.
it. Okay. So why does Washington, D.C. have a building height limit? Any guess? No.
Great guess.
Huh? No. No, not at all. Now that's the case, but not then.
Because they wanted it to feel like home for...
How is everyone asking everything except the QI version of the question I want to hear? What is it? That's the law, not the reason. All right. So what I was expecting... So that everyone can see the Washington Monument. No. Everyone says
You're
that.
wrong. Thank you.
You're wrong.
Thank you.
You're wrong. No.
Take the
The
point
reason
back.
is NIMBYs. No. So NIMBYs from the 1800s. So you see it right there, that building. That's the Cairo. It sticks up like that. So when they first built it, people went to a town hall with these letters saying that they thought that the Cairo would cause natural disasters, even though it's like 160 feet tall, and they thought it would spew like people. They thought people would like throw poo out the window, and like they thought that it would like shoot bricks out from the height.
They thought it would be a building, and it turns out it was just humans.
Yeah.
We're the natural disaster.
Yeah, so they put up this height of building act in order to sort of limit it, and then now the post, the actual like the justification for keeping it is because it looks kind of Parisian, but the original reason is just NIMBYs. It's not for any cool, smart reason. No, I think it's so funny. And for guessing the QI, who is it again? You said it was you. Yeah, it's you.
Nice.
You got the QI in.
Oh, it's coming up.
Yeah,
All
you
right.
can get it. So for what to do in DC, so I think people kind of they think, oh, I should come for they think, oh, what should I do in DC, and they always think of like the main like monuments and things. Yeah, and they always think, oh, we should go to the White House, we should go to but there's like
Which are perfectly fine tourism destinations, Emma. You can go to the White House. It's just fine.
I'm gonna counterpoint. So it's been snowing, obviously, as we know. People don't think, oh, we should go to the National Zoo, the Smithsonian Zoo. But if you would go this weekend, this is the sort of thing that you would see if it loads, which it hasn't been loading, so it may not. So I'm gonna bring the quality down. So they'll let you in the snow. Isn't this the cutest thing ever? They just let you in and you can see the animals playing in the snow. It's adorable. Yeah, stop it. Okay. So alternatives. I know that you think that, White House, those things I think.
Well, okay. It's not that it's like a fun tourism destination. It's a White House, and it's smaller than you think it is.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. So instead, I have a couple different alternative museums that I think are like locations that I think are worth visiting. The first one I picked out here is the Renwick. The Renwick really specializes in things that I would say it specializes in art that's hard to make and not just art that's like meaningful. Which means that the picture that I took I put it here is they did an exhibit on Burning Man once, and this is a cathedral made out of tiny little pieces of wood, basically the size of a toothpick. They also have sort of like all these different things. Like they have a big it's like a rainbow made out of tiny thread. They have these like a dress made out of marble, just the sort of thing that blows your mind very easily. And it's right next to the White House, and it's free. So if you wanted to go to the White House and then see something interesting, the Renwick. The next one I think a lot of people think of, but I just want to bring it up because it is a good, geek thing to pick out. Air and Space. They've got like planes throughout history, all these different like aircraft and like
it's one we highly recommend.
Yeah, it's dope. I'm pretty sure
I don't know.
they
I haven't
did.
heard yet.
They did. I think they did. Yeah. Because. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because they had that thing. They had that thing 2 years ago where they were doing the like Apollo launch thing on the mall, and then now, I think it was closed then, but I'm pretty sure it's reopened since. Then African American History and Culture Museum is. I think you would find that some of the other sort of like history and culture museums, contrary to the name, are kind of out of touch. But I find the African American one is like very in touch. It's very like canny and like all the exhibits are like really kind of speak to you in the moment rather than being a little bit like doesn't that apply to someone from a while back. My God, what's wrong? So memorials.
Yeah, these are some other places we recommend checking out. We've got the Jefferson Memorial. We've got the FDR Memorial, which is really awesome to check out. Very calming. It's like a nice little nature walk. And then you get to learn some things about FDR. And then Meridian Hill, I think, made the list out of nepotism since you can see it from your apartment.
It's not it. That's not it. So I picked these out specifically because I think when you think of going to a monument, you're going to go to it and you're going to be like, I have no strong feelings for Thomas Jefferson. Like, you're not going to go and see his big statue and be like, oh my God, I love him. You don't care. I think it's better to think of a place, the sort of like the sort of feeling they wanted you to feel. And, something like Jefferson where it's like, it's on the tidal basin. So it's like very quiet and there's trees and the big water in front of you. Meridian Hill, when it works, has this really massive fountain that goes down and so many people get married there. Very calming just for reading a book. It's technically a memorial to James Buchanan, which is like, who gives a damn? But like, yeah. And apparently they've repeatedly tried to replace him, but like haven't. So instead kids just spray paint him all the time because there's no respect. And like you said, FDR is like, it's like a place to cry. It's just, you go there and you're just like, oh my God.
If you need a good cry.
Yeah, you just feel like.
That sounds great. Yeah. I've never cried there though. I should do that.
You feel it in your heart. You're like, oh, I'm just so calm. There was something where it was like, I think the reason there's water is because he had, what was it, polio?
Yeah, he did.
He had polio and then he liked to swim in the water and that was why. So it was like.
Just arms?
Huh? Yeah, just arms. Yeah, because it takes the weight off you.
Oh, true.
Yeah, it takes the weight off. That's
nice.
Why. So that's sort of like the reason why, because he said it was like his favorite places in the water.
That's so nice.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
It is nice. Geekery. I wanted to pick out something that DC does really well, which is books. There's a lot of bookstores around DuPont. My favorite in the area is Second Story Books, but there's
Eddie's.
Huh?
Eddie's.
What is that one?
The one in DuPont Circle right by Rakuya.
No, that's Kramer.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I thought you thought of something I hadn't.
No.
Yeah,
Kramer, right.
Kramer Books, which is a little bit more like, if you want something brand new, but Second Story has all used. So you'll find like antiques there and like books you forgot about. Like I went there and I saw Pendragon on the shelf and I'm like, I read that in like middle school. And then Capitol Hill Books is wild.
I didn't know about this one. You told me about this one. I think this is really cool.
So it's kind of in the neighborhood behind Congress and behind the Supreme Court, which is a neighborhood, which is really wild. It's basically like, what do you say? It was like that Hogwarts.
It's like in I can't remember. It's Diagon Alley, not Hogsmeade, where like the books just are shoved into every nook and cranny. So it's like even in the bathrooms. You said they're bathroom.
The language section. The language section is in the bathroom because he says languages in America are going to the toilet or something like that. The owner is really curmudgeonly and he'll yell at you if you say like or like any word. He hates it if you say awesome, perfect, amazing, cool. Like
that's cute. That's a very DC staple. We're really niche about the things we get offended about.
That guy's a local hero. It's amazing. I could go on. I could do a whole panel on him. Yeah, I could. It's cool as hell. They have a whole basement. That's the main thing, is that they have a whole basement that's all like old science fiction. So you just go there and you're like, oh, can I have all of it?
Oh, that's cool.
Can I have all of it, please? The next thing. So lightning round. Which animal does the National Zoo not have? You just pick anything off. You
Alex.
First to guess.
That was a hand.
That was a hand. Wrong. It has all of them.
We were just messing with you. Messing with you.
Really?
Oh, you're wrong. Wrong. Oh, nice. Thank you for showing up, our panelist, Alex. We appreciate it. That is beautiful.
I'm gonna throw this at you, like I swear.
A point's a point.
This is yours. That is a maned wolf. Maned wolves are cool because they got long legs. But yeah, they have pretty much every goddamn animal you would want to see. Like they have like, you saw the red pandas, they have giant pandas, they're
all sorts of pandas. Any pandas you would.
Any green panda, flying panda. Yeah. They've got
and trash pandas, but I don't think they're a part of the exhibit. They're like extra.
No, they've got them around. I've seen
them. They're around.
They're not in cages.
No, they're not part of. Yeah, they're not part of the zoo.
Yeah, they're just there.
They're filler.
Yeah. That's the house. The National Zoo, like I said, free, accessible on the metro, so super easy to get to, and it's all like walkable, and they've got like lions and stuff. The other thing I wanted to point out is Futures, which is brand new, and that's on. I think it's in the Smithsonian Castle. You would not know.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. Arts.
Thank you, the Arts and Institute. All right.
So it's a brand new one where they've gone ahead and like remodeled inside, and they filled it with like. What was it? These like the costumes from Eternals.
Yeah, the costumes from Eternals.
The costumes from Eternals. They got this.
If you want to be disappointed twice, you can go see that.
Yeah. They've got the big flying, like a big demo of what it would be like to have a flying car there. They've got like the thing from the Hyperloop.
Yes, the Virgin Hyperloop.
Yeah, the Virgin Hyperloop. They have this crazy thing that I can't begin to describe, which is why it's Futures. It's like a dress made out of pins that move when you move. It's like your night. Like was it like a paralysis demon?
Oh God!
Like it makes me stutter just to think about. But like it's like a Connect thing where it points it at you, and then like the dress moves and like in time with your body. It's freaky.
Oh, that's crazy.
I hate it. So that's why I cut it out of the shot.
What? No! Dang it! I want to see that.
You'll have to go to see it because I don't want to scar the people. Another thing I wanted to point out was the time of year that you go. We're all geeks here, and DC explodes in spring with the I'm going to pronounce this wrong, Sakura Matsuri.
That was racist.
And so the cherry blossoms were a gift from Japan around the tidal basin. Like I said, with
nothing.
With around where Jefferson Memorial is, they'll do a huge celebration of like Japanese culture. All these different
because they were a gift from Japan.
Yeah, and they'll have tea ceremonies, like these
bring your Zyrtec.
Oh yeah,
I cannot stress that enough
because the pollen is crazy. But they have Japanese snacks and all these things. And then my favorite one is they've got this big kite, thing where they take like all these kids come with their kites. You cannot take a photo of it because you can't fathom what that looks like in a photo, but it's like just like the whole sky is like ding, 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 little things in the wind, and it's just the chillest.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Fun fact about the Washington Monument: you can go up to the top, but in order to reserve that, you have to reserve it at 10 a.m. the morning before, like the day before you would want to go. I'm not sure if they're doing it right now though, because of COVID. Yeah. But for when you come back, like it's a really great experience.
It's really crazy. All right, so something I wanted to bring up.
This is a shameless plug for
the point I wanted to make is that there's also a bit of a nerd community, and that I really like the idea of reaching out to people in your area who are like fellow MAGFest people or fellow nerds. So you and I were from DC Killer Queen, which is we're based out of a brewery in Northeast.
Called City State. We're there every Friday at 7:30.
Yeah. But the main thing I think is, it's good to seek out locals who are like into the same stuff you are when you're visiting a place like that, just to kind of get like a little bit, to sort of set, talk to people.
And if you were to come by and be like, hey, like, you guys busy tomorrow? Can you like take me around DC? We're so happy to do that sort of thing.
Exactly. It's so great to have a local connection. As well, just to point out, there's a lot of Killer Queen in the arcade this weekend. So go check it out.
Please check it out. It's pretty awesome.
Check it out. You'll meet a lot of people from DC down there. The other one I want to shout out is DCGG or DC Gaming Group. There's some folks who I think they organized during COVID. How'd it go?
Oh yeah. Oh, the trivia thing.
Yeah, they started.
Oh yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, so they did this cool online trivia for DCGG and new people that wanted to join. And then our friend Ren is actually in charge of it, and she'll be doing a panel tonight, tomorrow at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
So you guys should definitely check that out.
And then another one tomorrow at 10:30. Yeah, they're another group that's like social. It's a way of like, meeting up with fellow nerds while you're in the area. The next thing, another quiz question. So which of these famous people do not share a name with a traffic circle in DC? I know that sounds like a really boring question, but it's an interesting one. So your options are General.
We got Taker.
No. Hamilton, because there is. It
is actively being demolished, though, and it's so nice to watch. I know, right?
There is a Dave Thomas circle. Yeah. So, Dave Thomas. Yeah, we'll see. So if basically to explain Dave Thomas circle, if you imagine like a waffle, right? Like a round waffle, and like there's like all the different squares, but around the edges of the waffle, you get the weird, not quite square triangle sort of shapes. It was, if you kind of see how the roads all come together, that's not meant to be a traffic circle. It's just a little tiny chunk of a block. So they put a Wendy's on it, and then like the property value shot up, so they had to like buy it with eminent domain. So it just, locals called it Dave Thomas Circle because it just functions as a traffic circle. It's a nightmare.
Stress on the traffic.
So they bought it recently and they're demolishing it because everyone hates Dave Thomas so much.
I can't. I'll be front seat to that bulldozing.
I swear to God, because all the traffic gets stopped.
It's so bad.
It's the worst. The worst.
Yeah. But again, hopefully you'll just be walking around not dealing with traffic, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, exactly. It's just fun facts.
Yeah.
So another thing, what to eat in DC. Sorry. What to eat in DC. So we're about to montage a lot of food until we run out of time, basically. So, from here on out, if you have questions, we can kind of...
Please feel free to like jump in, ask whatever you want.
How did you phrase it before?
Yes. What are your questions?
What are your questions?
Yes.
Yeah.
We would like to have some questions.
Yeah. But we're going to move as we go as well. So by neighborhoods, though. So I know that like the typical question is usually like, when you think about like New York, there's like New York style pizza or like, New York, like a Chicago hot dog.
Chicago hot dog, Chicago style pizza.
DC's ones aren't famous, I wouldn't think, or at least I don't feel like they are, but like they should be in IMO because they're really good. So hot dog, we have Ben's Chili Bowl, which is owned by some folks who are, it feels like when you go in there, like it must be 200 years old just on the history of it. Because like the amount of different people that have gone, like, the photos they've got on the wall of the people who've eaten there. But like the original owners are still alive. It's
very old, but still alive. And it's delicious.
And the hot dogs are amazing. The general thing that defines a half smoke, that's the main thing, is when people say, what the heck is a half smoke? It's kind of ambiguous. I think some people say it's because it's half pork, half like beef. Some people say it's like because you cut it in half and then you like put it on the grill and then it's like half. It's ambiguous, but it's like a unique sort of flavor, so that's kind of why. The pizza one is really interesting. And
you tell that story. It's your story.
Okay, so you see the box this guy is holding and the shape of that pizza. It makes it really portable. So
that guy, by the way, is eating the pizza in the background. Has no idea that a photo's being taken.
Picture's being taken. So the thing is you'll see people on the street eating their pizza this way because it's just so portable and long. So there was a really important televised thing about like a politician who committed some sort of, I'm not even going to get into that because I'm sure it's dicey, but the point is this guy is like a newscaster and he's like in the middle of a live broadcast talking about like something really important, and then you see this guy, the people called him the intern. He like ran out of the room, grabbed a pizza from an Uber Eats delivery guy, and like in the background of the shot he's like
and that's his 15 minutes forever.
And that's the funny thing, is that completely defines what a DC pizza would be. It's like an underpaid intern just trying to eat, getting in the way, kind of not really to blame, just trying to get it down when he has a moment. So they posted a thing about like what was on his pizza when they found out from him. So you'll have to look it up because they don't all know the name of the intern, but you can order the intern. And it's got like banana pepper and like, all these things. But
you can create it as you go, but it's a great spot.
That's the thing is it's more like Chipotle.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you kind of just pick your ingredients, and some of them are really odd, which I like.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and then the other one, I mentioned this, I think, was Roaming Rooster is one that I'm so partial to. Do you guys remember with the Popeyes thing where there was that big, like, everyone wants a Popeye sandwich? Oh my God. DC kind of felt exempt from that because it blew up and then no one could get the sandwich. And then this restaurant called Roaming Rooster was like, we don't care, we've got a better one. And everyone's like, mm-hmm. And then they tried it. And then long story short, they have like 10 new locations in the last couple of years. So they were clearly correct. I would say they are correct. It's much better. So yeah. What was the next thing I was going to bring up?
I think that was all for 14th and U Street.
Yeah, it's 14th and U.
It's my stomping ground. If you want to check it out, let me know.
For barbecue, we're gonna get into this.
We have very different opinions on the best barbecue in DC, but I will say this: I haven't been to the Federalist Pig because I don't need to go to the Federalist Pig.
Sorry. So
because Cinder and Petworth exists.
For context, we're both we originally lived for some time in North Carolina, so I think we're allowed speaking from experience. But at the same time, this is like a very heated debate. And actually, something to point out is that the reason the food is so good in DC is because so many people are from out of town.
Yeah, exactly. Well, not just out of town, out of the country. Like, I mean, in DC, you're going to find some of the most diverse restaurants because you've got diplomats coming in, like tourists coming in, like you're going to find the best Ethiopian food, for instance. There's a whole phenomenal.
There's a whole neighborhood called Diplomat Row where you'll walk down and it'll be like that's not Canada. Canada's like on its own, but it'll be like that's all these different countries all in a row, and then you think, where would those people like eat? They want to eat their like poutine or like any kind of Ethiopian food or anything. Yeah. They'll have a guy, and the guy knows how to make the stuff, and then you go to the guy and you get the stuff. So North Carolina is kind of like that, where it's like someone's come up and tried to. Someone Federalist Pig has come up and tried to do the right thing, and then some pretender from Cinder has tried
an amazing chef from Cinder has totally nailed the food.
Yeah, so I would say the upsides of one, you can get the better sides at one. I feel like maybe you could be right that the barbecue is a bit more pure at Cinder. The point is, there's a bit for everyone.
Yeah, and okay, so there are 3 locations for the Federalist Pig. One location for Cinder. Yeah, it's locally owned. Yeah. Cinder is not the Federalist Pig. I resent all of these bullet points. My God. Jeez. I thought she sent this to me and I thought she was kidding. I was like, that's really great. Like it's a draft. Yeah. You'd actually do it.
Nope. Eat Federalist Pig.
All right, fine.
Yeah.
Cinder.
Another point to make. So Adams Morgan has a really massive history. Like some of the most famous musicians used to perform there when there's a bigger sort of, music scene. So I think Prince performed there once. I swear to God, I'm pretty sure. So in its place of the music, I think food has really taken off. So you want to talk
so Don Burr is amazing. I mean, everything that we have listed is delicious. We also recommend Himalayan Heritage. You'll find that at the end of Adams Morgan. That's a fantastic spot. We recommend the fried cauliflower. Unbelievable. So yeah, I mean, we're helpful in a sense, but I mean, just Google the food you want to eat and
it'll be
the same you would in any city.
There's some really amazing history to some of them. Like I was saying before, Don Burry was made by a guy who was frustrated that there weren't any restaurants that made his favorite food, so he just brought it in. The diner is cool. Some famous comedians eat there regularly.
Some very famous, not at all.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It doesn't matter who they are.
Doesn't matter. Grand Duchess. I think Grand Duchess is a good example of just the kind of cocktail bars. That
yeah.
Because I feel like there's a mood in DC of like, you want to like go have like a really nice cocktail and just kind of chill somewhere. And
that's not super overpriced. Something less than $16 a cocktail.
There's plenty of those.
You will find a lot of that.
Some of those are worth it.
100%. 100%.
But Grand Duchess and a few others are just a really good example of like just a little something. And high and low places, like even some place like Super Tacos and Bakery, which is a really unassuming name, will have like people who just have come and established a restaurant straight from, where they came from. The food is amazing there. It's that kind of thing. It's just really sick.
Absolutely.
Yeah. More importantly than any of those things, though, more than the best one, this place called Dance Cafe.
I can't believe you put this in.
I'm putting it in.
No,
I'm putting it in.
Okay, no. Because this is where you go, if you're in DC or you came to MAGFest, you want to I don't know.
If you had the worst MAGFest of your life, you can come.
No, it's a seedy bar where it's if you want both herpes simplexes, to go to Dance Cafe.
Yeah.
If you want to come to MAGFest and hook up, go to Dance Cafe. I can't believe you put this on the slide.
No, it's worth it. So the best part is you order a drink and then they give you the alcoholic part in a ketchup bottle and you go. It's
oh God, go there if you want COVID.
It's great. It's great.
If you came to DC for COVID, Dance Cafe.
Yeah, exactly.
Just put that in.
That's where you get it. Maybe wait.
Smells like a toilet. Smells like fun.
Yeah, maybe wait until
We'll get
after
to it.
everyone's vaccinated and we'll do that. Shaw's another good one. If you like noodles, there's all these different these are 3 different examples of just 3 completely different cultures that have good noodles in one area.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And also a great place in Shaw for Korean barbecue is Bogi Yogi. Great to check out.
Yeah. I feel like we could go on and on about food, and that maybe that's just true about DC, is that it's all.
It really, this is the easiest panel, honestly.
This is just food, man. All of it.
It's so good.
Yeah. Georgetown, I wanted to bring up. So Georgetown's pretty famous. You probably
For being pretentious.
Yeah, it is. But who here has suffered through Wonder Woman? The recent one.
Which one? Oh yeah,
the recent one you
1984.
have. Do you remember that scene where was it the cheetah lady fell on and landed near the canal? Yeah, vaguely.
It's the canal fight scene. Yeah,
that was the actual canal. They shot a lot of the scenes actually in Georgetown. There was one of the lizard that was repainted a store to look exactly like a store that had been there in the 80s.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah. So it's a really cool place and most people will visit it. I just wanted to bring attention to something important though. So people will see there's a place that was it was on TV called Georgetown Cupcakes. And people think, oh, I saw it on TV, I need to go there. Not true. Not true at all. So alternatives, because there are so many in Georgetown. Sprinkles, where the cupcakes are better. I should stop banging.
No, I love the passion.
Sprinkles is amazing. Baked and Wired is my goddamn favorite. They make coffee and they also make all these different kinds of themed for the month, baked goods. I hope that you all have eaten. I bet none of you have. And if you haven't, I'm so sorry. Because we're just going to keep doing this to you. Levain has presence in New York, but now it also has presence in DC.
It's unbelievable if you want to pay $4.50 for a cookie, but a really good cookie. It's a really good cookie.
Big and it goes.
Yeah, it's huge. It's a huge cookie too. So we think it's worth it.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Thomas Sweet is it's in a locally owned ice cream place. Now brace yourselves and don't cry because this is what you'll see if you want to go to Georgetown Cupcakes.
Just don't go.
Just don't go.
Don't
Don't do it because everyone thinks they should go and they shouldn't.
And they shouldn't.
They just shouldn't go. So I just basically wanted. I know I haven't shown you this.
I know.
You were doing your hair.
Yeah, I was in another room. I was listening though.
Yeah, I was like, I'm just not going to show you this one. You can laugh. So I just wanted to generalize just in a sort of broad way because I feel like that's really what would make an impact if you're trying to figure out where you're trying to go, is to see something like this and understand that there's zones. There's good places to eat, bad places to eat. So you can see Georgetown where I've highlighted on the left. That's where the dessert's at. The most important takeaway though is do not eat on the mall.
Don't eat on the mall.
Do not try.
Tourists come here and they think that's where the senator. This is where the senators, the politicians eat. All these crappy little food trucks. Don't go.
No, it's not even quite just that. It's that they'll go to the museum, go, I'm hungry and I want to eat now.
And they settle. For these food trucks.
And these food trucks are there illegally, interestingly enough. And then they don't get removed because what they do is they see the police coming. And they leave one guy behind when it's his turn, and that guy pays the fine, and they all leave. And then when the police go, then they all come back, and that is worth it because they make more money in the end.
Charging $9 for ice cream, bad ice cream.
Literally, you buy a burrito there, and it's sour cream and no food. And
don't go. Just don't go.
Just don't go. So don't do it. Instead, if you're gonna hit the mall, plan instead to leave and go eat or bring something with you.
But it's definitely worth checking out.
It is, yeah. Well, I mean, obvious, no.
Yeah. But honestly, if you're coming out to DC, and it's, and you're not from the DMV, which a lot of you are, it's worth splurging because honestly, it's worth it. I can't think of a single place that's like $3 to $4 signs, is it worth their salt?
Endpoints, and I'm not sure if people haven't claimed them, but it's making me neurotic. So if you haven't claimed them, it's just wearing on me. So other thing I wanted to point out. So Union Market, you've been there?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have been a Union Market.
Yeah. I've highlighted it as rare food. I wanted to point that out just because it's like you get food there that you can't find like anywhere else. I think is the thing. And like a lot of the places that you'll read about somewhere in DC, they'll have a presence there.
Yeah, District Fishwife they're really great, but it's just an amalgam of food stalls. So it's impossible to go there and like not find something for everyone.
It's also possible to travel too far. Like I've put in the top left. If you go too far out, it just becomes hell because there's just no food at all.
Yeah, don't go to hell. Don't go to Arlington.
Yeah, this is just how. Yeah, no.
Since we live in DC, we can hate on Arlington.
The only mistake you can make, I think, is eating in the National Mall or Maryland or Virginia.
Or Virginia. Okay.
Yeah. Hardline stance.
Stay in DC.
Yeah. Pointing out date food. I've really found that whole neighborhood kind of, where is that, west of the White House, is where you can find like the quiet restaurant with the really nice food that's not too expensive. So you can go like, find a nice like dimly lit restaurant, have something really nice.
If you want, something more romantic.
Something to impress someone, seafood. I want to point this one out because there's an interesting story to it. Wharf is something I haven't brought up just because it's a little difficult to get there. If you're not from the area, the metro gets close, but it can be a little bit overwhelming to plan to go there. But it's a big built up area along the water. It's mainly like they've got a pretty dock where you can take photos, and they've often got like little evening events there, and seafood and things. It's just something that's really interesting though, is that they used to have this big authentic fish kind of like original fish market. You could go and get like actual live crabs and like do all these crazy things, but because the area has built up so much, they stopped letting people park there. So was it something White, I forget his name, Captain White, Captain White, that's it. There's a big barge that used to sell fish called Captain White, and it had a big picture of his face, and like his sons were the ones that owned it at the time, I think, but they decided, we've had it. My customers can't park here anymore. We can't pay rent here anymore. So they said, screw it. And they unhooked from the wharf and floated down the river. And people
much like what we would like California to do. Is that guy from LA still here?
Yeah. And it was just so funny because he's this face as he goes down the river, and everyone's like, bye, Captain White. Bye,
California.
Bye. Yeah. And since then they've lost another one, and it really hurts to see because, that was like a really authentic part of DC is you'd see people, like roasting crab legs and things, and you just know. Yeah.
That's
and
nice.
it's such a bummer. It really is. But like, yeah, it was amazing, and it's frustrating because the alternative is what they've really done is kind of inauthentic. The restaurants, they're good, but I feel like I can't recommend them because they're all, overpriced and not quite what you would hope for, and it's frustrating.
If you're in the DMV though, they do have sushi grade salmon. If you wanted to do like a homemade poke night or a homemade salmon night,
that is true.
So H Mart's got that too, but so do they.
Yeah, that's
very fresh.
Another point. That's a good point.
Yeah,
poke is common in DC, and I feel like maybe it's.
But it's easy to make it home, and it's easy to make it home. It's a lot of fun. Yeah,
it scares me. I'm not going to make raw sushi.
We'll have a sushi night.
Exactly. Yeah.
So go to L'Enfant Plaza.
L'Enfant.
Yeah. L'Enfant.
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 Never pronounce that. Oh my God. Honestly, I feel like I kind of hate L'Enfant because it's so hard to get out of. Maybe I'm crazy, but like you go there and it feels like you're trapped. Like it feels like someone has taken an hour of your time, and it doesn't feel like you've spent it, but you leave and you're like, how did it take that long to leave? Because like the getting to the metro is awkward there. That's why I would just say avoid it, just because for a new person you can get horrendously lost on foot.
And our time is precious for this weekend. So
it is. Yeah, especially then. Yeah. And I just wanted to point, something out. Well, I've still got the map up.
I like good food-ish, bottom right. That was great.
Yeah, good food.
Capitol Hill.
Yeah, what I was saying about Capitol Bookstore, that place where it's wall to wall, that's over here. Food,
Where you can also get good food.
you get
Ish.
good food, ish.
Ish.
I've had some ish meals there. Yeah, something I wanted to point out. Those you see, these are all metro stops. This is how easy it is to get from your Kino food to your cheap food to all these things. It really only takes, I'd say, an hour to get from the furthest spot to the next furthest spot. So it's pretty dandy. I'm not sure how we're doing on time.
We still have 15 minutes.
15 minutes. Yeah. If people have questions, we really want to, hear from you guys as well.
Steve in the back.
This total stranger in the back.
Who we don't know.
We don't know you or
Yes.
how tall you are. True.
Food courts in the museums. Okay.
You're right. It's true.
Legit food courts,
Legit.
everyone.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. I forgot to bring that one up. It is. It's. I guess I would say it's 50-50 because I know that the American Culture Museum, the food there is stank. It's just absolutely not worth it. It's like they tried to make a kind of like a silver spoon diner, and instead they made like a silver spoon diner that you pay like $40 for nothing. It's not great, but Yeah, but I've heard amazing things. I haven't quite tried the African American culture one yet, but I've heard that it's like off the chain. What else?
That is what the kids say.
Yeah. Further questions?
Any other questions?
Hear your questions.
All right, moving on.
I want to try and bring up like a last couple of things while I think of any. Oh, new food. Something to point out just above that, and that's something I left off. The Van Gogh experience thing. That's something that's new this year. DC has a few of these. I can't describe this in a photo, even if I wanted to. Imagine every wall of this room and the floor was a Van Gogh painting, and they're all going like and like moving a little bit, and like as you move, they move. Using another like motion tracking thing. There's a few of those around DC, including one that's kind of near the wharf, but like this is crazy new thing that's really popular, and you buy
people really like it. I hear mixed reviews. I've heard you can also, I'm not sure what drug, but you can do a couple or something, and then if you just stare in front of a Windows desktop, you'll get a similar experience.
It's okay, imagine the walls and the thing, and then they've also got like a little bar for you, and they've got like little interactive exhibits. There's a few like that.
Isn't it like $75?
No. Not the one that's in the wharf.
No, okay. Oh, Artec House. Yeah.
That was the name of it. Yeah, Artec House.
Yeah, there's one there's an Artec House in New York too.
I'm pretty sure Artec House makes its money on the drinks.
That would make sense.
Yeah, that would make sense. Let me try and bring up more inspiration from this. Roosevelt Island, I've cut off on the left, is an amazing kind of something that you wouldn't think of. You see it's right here. I've kind of got it like, but it's like just a little like places like Roosevelt Island and Rock Creek up to the north.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to some place like New York, they've got like the Central Park, which is like, it's a little taste of the woods, but Rock Creek feels like you're really in the woods, which is kind of nice. It's like a little taste of like the hiking there. I took you through
we've been hiking there.
Yeah, it's like just great to get out of the city sometimes, and it's like, so well maintained. It's like an actual proper hiking trail.
Mm-hmm.
And Roosevelt Island is another one of those places where you go and you're just like,
DC's got a bunch of great parks, very well maintained,
yeah.
very beautiful.
I guess I want to move on to the last thing here. So I put a thank you here, and then I cut it off because I thought it would go in the notes. So instead, I'm going to just back out and read it off. Or everyone close your eyes for a second.
Everyone close your eyes.
I was supposed to bring up the notes, and then it didn't let me do it, so I'm just gonna do this, and then okay. Magic. All right.
You can open your eyes.
You can open your eyes. All right. So I've only lived in the DMV for about 10 years, and you've only lived in for one.
Yeah, 1 year.
Yeah. So I'm still a transplant. But that, I really do like the city, and I feel like I have to, pay respect to the people that have lived here much longer, and at the same time, I want to emphasize how much I really do love it there. And I love how much, and I love that MAGFest is so close, so I have the opportunity to kind of evangelize this, you know, and try and tell you about all these different cool things that I want you to have the chance to experience. You know, despite all the heavy things that DC symbolizes and all the kind of cold and unfeeling things, it is home to almost 1 million people. You know, families have lived here for generations, and it has its own music and stories and culture. And there's like much more to it than what you might see in the news. You know, when you see something like, is it? Today is the 6th. Yeah. That's a heavy thing, and you're gonna think like, oh, do I even want to go into the city? Because I saw, you know, people are upset about like, you know, there might be protesting, and it's so heavy and like such a bummer.
They canceled that protest.
They did?
They canceled that
Because of
protest.
the snow, I bet they're too afraid.
Yeah, that's definitely what it
They're
was.
too afraid because they're from out of town and they can't drive in the snow.
Yeah, they're from the southern states. Panic when they see a snowflake.
So,
which DC has a lot of snowflakes.
yeah. So the more important thing though is that you think about it and you're like, oh, it's gonna be like full of boring, you know. No, those people don't even live in the city. They go home to their awful little states, and then we get to, you know, enjoy the proper stuff.
Yeah.
So if you watch this presentation and you're inspired to visit the real DC and not just the places that you visited on your high school field trip, then thank you. Okay. And one last thing. So music. DC is famous for this genre of music called go-go. This is a music festival, technically. So enjoy this sample of Go-Go Swing by Chuck Brown. And if you have any questions, we'll feel free to take them. All right. What else? What? You say that.
I don't want to say. I don't know. I don't want to say it. You say it.
Don't shove me with your phone. And your phone's no.
You said you were going to add a slide.
We're not
okay,
talking
that's
about
fair.
that.
That's fair.
All right, go.